Andy Hoops. By the way, this is Goatsquadtv. Andy Hoops. Just seen your video talking about 3 NBA stars aging terribly. The only one I'm going to agree with you on, and only slightly, is Draymond Green. In Draymond Green, the reason why I only slightly agree with Green is because Green played his ass off and played his body out of commission pretty much during those years that they were winning. He's not quite the same player he once was. And that's the only one I agree with you slightly. And I'm not even going to say he's aged terribly. No. But I agree with you to an extent of him not being what he used to be. Your take on Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, you need to be drug tested. Severely drug tested. I don't even know how you even come to those conclusions. Are you just looking at numbers, man? Because we're going to just look at numbers. Russell Westbrook just dropped a 42-point triple-double against Milwaukee just 2 nights ago. And he's had multiple 30-point games this year. Sure, his defense isn't what it used to be, but offensively, he's still Russell. Is he the impact guy he was? Not quite. Aged terribly? That's disrespectful to Russell Westbrook. Carmelo Anthony looks better now than his last 2 seasons in New York. Those last 2 seasons in New York, and I say that because he wasn't in the best shape in those years. And mentally, he was just drained. I've seen Carmelo those last 2 years in New York. He looked like his passion was completely drained out of him. He had a lot of things personally going on as well that he mentioned. You understand that this year and last year, although his stats might not be always up, he's become a much better player overall. Maybe not the scorer he once was, maybe not the superstar, but he's become a leader on that Portland team, and he's had a lot of big games when needed. I don't think they get even in the playoffs last year without Carmelo Anthony's contributions. To sit there and say that he aged terribly is disrespectful. I have a whole new respect for Carmelo Anthony because I wasn't always a fan of Carmelo. But watching his wine show, his podcast, and just finding out who he really is, and just seeing his slow, steady comeback as a role player and being a guy that knows his role and plays well on a team that just got to, is just really looking really strong to make a playoff run push in the West. For you to sit there and say he's aged terribly tells me you don't watch games. You pay attention to stats. And this is what I meant about all the times I've ever mentioned you in any rant in the past that I've had. You pay attention to stats. I pay attention to what I see in the court. I've seen enough Carmelo Anthony to know, enough Russell Westbrook to know. Those guys have not aged terribly at all. They're just aging naturally. And they're damn good at it. I'd take Russell Westbrook in Boston right now if I could. I so would. And we'd probably be in the finals. Because he would know his role and know that it's not all about him. He knows his Tatum and Brown. You know what I mean? It would make a lot more sense. He would challenge the coaching. And Carmelo, I love him in Portland, man. I wish he would have played in Portland his whole career. Had Damian, at least the years that Damian got in the league, instead of demanding that trade, or that time he spurned Portland to go to Chicago, to go to New York. To go to New York when he was a free agent in 2015-ish. He knows that that's a place for him. He's going to retire a Portland Trailblazer and probably go down as one of the best players to ever play, regardless of how you feel about him. And his new and improved self towards the end of his career. It shows you he's gonna go out with class. So I don't know what else. I don't know what you smoking, bro. That said, Gold Squad TV. Leave your comments down below. If you've seen this Andy Hoops take, let me know what you guys think about Andy Hoops take on this. Gold Squad TV.